Here's my strategic plan to get our property taxes lowered and create a sustainable housing boom that will ease back inflation of rental housing in the CBRM. And yes, it does require some focus on equalization funding. Listen, stop listening to anyone that tells you that $3.46 billion can come to this province from the federal government and federal MPs are not allowed to negotiate for more of it to make its way here. It's absolutely nonsensical. And if you think the province can't afford it, that's nonsensical too. Houston just invested at least $27 million every year to remove tolls on 2 Halifax bridges. It's not exactly a life-changing policy, but the same money here in the CBRM would have been if it was applied to our tax rates. The math here is easy. High property tax rates means that developers go to the Halifax region. They're smart. They don't build properties so that the local government can gouge their investment. They take their money elsewhere, and that's what's happening. But what's my practical plan to get started? Well, how about first I just simply ask Tim Houston for more money for the CBRM to be applied to property tax reductions only. And just like I asked him before. Now, the Nova Scotians for Equalization Fairness have been at this forever. They created my awareness of the issue, and they inspired me to keep trying to figure out how we can do better. Maybe they're the reason I'm on the ballot today. And you know what they end up facing for their efforts? Well, CBRM councillors pretend they support them, and then after the election, they end up fighting with them. Or MLAs for the province in power make excuses for their own party. Or MPs like Kellaway and Batiste shut them down and don't want to have conversations anymore. And even Anna Manley says Tim Houston can do whatever he wants with it, and that Cape Breton doesn't need any more government money. How about we elect a real advocate? Because I'll ask for it. Of course I will. It'll be absolutely irresponsible, unethical, and absurd not to do so. But I have a specific starting point. I'll go to Ottawa, to the Department of Finance, and with a very precise request. I'll ask them, each year when they calculate the equalization payments to the province, they do it in a massive spreadsheet, and I know because I have a copy of it that they provided to me. From that spreadsheet, they can tell how much of the payment to a province was triggered by each area, like the CBRM. So I'm not approaching this with brute force. The pen can actually be mightier than the sword, as they say. So instead, I will simply ask that they issue a letter to each municipality in the country for receiving provinces to tell the individual municipality how much of the equalization received by the province was triggered by them. And with that document in hand each year, they can use it for negotiations with their province. It's just that simple. The Department of Finance says we triggered this much due to our high property tax rates or disparity of services compared with other parts of the province. We don't think enough of it is making it here. So what can you do for us? And in the CBRM, the plan I'll be endorsing and promoting is to lower our property taxes to a rate that is comparable to that of Halifax, or perhaps even a little bit better, to help us attract more development and make a little progress to catch up to the deficit of development that we've accumulated all these years. And that's it. That's the tangible starting point. Don't let anyone tell you that $3.46 billion can arrive to the province of Nova Scotia, but we need to be held back here in the CBRM by property tax rates that kill development, when all we need is a small allocation to fix it. So vote Joe Ward in Sydney Glace Bay, someone who actually wants the federal government to be fiscally responsible, and someone who doesn't believe that the second largest municipality in this province is supposed to only exist as an economic blood donor for Halifax. Hi, I'm Joe Ward, your independent candidate for Sydney Glace Bay, and I think that we need representation in Ottawa that's independent and speaks for the community. Why? You can support either of the political party candidates, the Liberals with Mike Kellaway, the Conservatives with Anna Manley, but they're ultimately going to have to answer to Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre, who are serving the interests of Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta. And the only one I have to answer to is you and my mom.
To Ottawa with passion and solutions mine. Joe Ward knows what's on the line.